problems with spouses, problems with family, problems with coworkers, dealing with your friends and family, because this is probably one of the most seen topics out on the social media sites, pain management support sites. And I can't fix all your problems, but over the many years that I've been a chronic pain patient, there's certain little tips and tricks I've come up with. I'm just going to share a few of them. If you've got some that you want to share, go ahead and put it down in the comments. Good morning and welcome to the Chronic Pain Call-In Show. My name is Joseph of Borg. I come to you live each Sunday from Las Vegas, Nevada, 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Feel free to call in and talk to me. Area code 725-333-4140. I look forward to taking your call. Now we have a mic and we have a camera. Coming back to Facebook, back where it all started, kind of came full circle. Want to welcome you to this week's edition of the Chronic Pain Call-In Show. I am, of course, Joseph of Borg. Getting just a few minutes late start, a little bit of tech, go figure. Wouldn't be my show without some tech problems. I am going to try and keep an eye on the chat. If I don't do a great job, forgive me. New tips and tricks, learning a little bit new stuff. So I'm sorry that I didn't do a show last week. We had company in from out of town. I guess I'd say on short notice. I really ended up overexerting myself. And if you want to hear all that, I guess I'll put it up on Surfing the Pain. That's my other Facebook page. I still do videos on there. It's been a little while since I've put one up. I call it Surfing the Pain because that's how I think of my managing my chronic pain. I think of it as like surfing a wave, trying to stay in the sweet spot. Um, don't have too much in the way of tech. I'm not at my best. I'm just getting over, like I said, I really overextended myself and I'm not feeling the best. It is Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to all you fathers out there. I will put a card link, whatever, up for Surfing the Pain so you can go check that out. That's I've made a lot of informational videos, but I'm slowly starting to do more of my informational videos over here. And using YouTube more as an archive. And I'm going to be doing that as more of a vlog about living with my chronic pain than anything else. So hopefully the video is not terribly, terribly choppy. It looks like it could be better. It definitely looks like it could be worse. We're probably going to go fairly short on the show today just because I'm kind of experimenting with all this tech. I'm sure I will have a few bugs to work out before it's all said and done. I know the stream on my broadcaster looks pretty solid. So hopefully Facebook is streaming well. So enough rambling. I want to get on to today's topic. Now, if this is a topic that really resonates with you, please feel free, make a comment. Uh, you can contact me on the phone number up on the screen there. You can literally call me live while I'm live streaming. If not, you can leave a message. Uh, on the page, there should be a link, and I'll put up a graphic next week. I just didn't have time to make one. You can email me at josephofborg, B-O-R-G, like the Star Trek characters, at gmail.com. For those of you who are completely unfamiliar with me, I call myself that because I have a computer attached to my spinal cord that lets me walk. And as always, I suppose I should get rid of the little subscription cube that's down there in the corner since you don't actually subscribe on Facebook, but follow, do what's appropriate. Like I said, it's all in transition. Today's topic, I want to touch on dealing with your friends and family because this is probably one of the most seen topics out on the social media sites, pain management support sites, problems with spouses, problems with family, problems with coworkers. And I can't fix all your problems, but over the many years that I've been a chronic pain patient, there's certain little tips and tricks I've come up with. I'm just going to share a few of them. If you've got some that you want to share, go ahead and put it down in the comments. Maybe if it's a good one, I'll branch off. If you've got any topic you want to discuss or hear about, and for some reason you don't want to call in or you just want to post it in text, feel free to do that. One of the reasons I do videos as opposed to just respond to stuff in text, number one, I have trouble typing due to my fine motor skills issues. Number two, sometimes when you're in chronic pain, I can't read and focus. I can't comprehend what I'm reading. Normally I can, but when my pain's high, I can't. Some people might want to just listen because God knows I'm aware that I am not all that to look at. And that obviously you've got that option to just listen to me, or if you actually want the engagement of something visually stimulating to help engage you, uh, that way I've got all my bases covered. So we're going to just take a quick tour of some of the things that come to the top of my head. I'm unscripted. Like I said, I was battling the tech monster. My bad, me culpa. It can only get better. I actually think I'm really happy to be back at doing this on Facebook, though, simply because I think Facebook has a lot more. Uh, Go figure that a social media platform would have more social engagement. The reason I went over to YouTube is because I wanted to be in the Google search for people who are looking for the information and looking for chronic pain information so that they would be able to find me. Um, in case you don't know it, Facebook posts and such don't come up in the Google search. Go figure, since Google owns YouTube. So if you don't have access to Facebook or you prefer to use YouTube, I will be uploading each episode to the YouTube channel. After it's done, I'll do a little editing. That'll probably be a little bit cleaner product, not quite so rough around the edges. So you can follow me on either format, but I really think it's easier to interact through Facebook. But one of the things is how trying to deal with friends, coworkers, family members, acquaintances. Um, it can be stressful. It can become redundant. It can piss people off, and I get all that. I'm not discounting that. Um, but sometimes if you know you're in the right, you don't gain anything by forcing the other person to admit that you're in the right. And this seems an awful lot like a lot of the social interactions you're going to have are going to fall into those groups. So, without further ado, I'll try and stay on topic. Like I said, uh, not at my best. So, again, I apologize. Okay. One of my early pet peeves, and it drove me nuts long before I had chronic pain, having no sob story for you. I'm the sole surviving member of my family, so I guess you could say, hosted more than my share of funerals, and that people will say stupid things. And I'm going to tie this into the chronic pain, so stay with me. Um, people, obviously, there's nothing they can do, and everybody asks if there's anything they can do. People will say ignorant, thoughtless shit, stuff. They just blurt out what we're conditioned to say. Um, we go with, the old standbys. Um, and that drove me nuts. But of course, at that point, you're extra edgy anyway, and you're kind of looking for something to take your mind off it. So I tried to cut that some slack. But we all do this in daily life. For example, we will answer without thinking. Obviously, it's not incredibly sincere because we didn't give any thought to what we were saying. For example, off the top of my head, let's say you're going to a movie. You buy your tickets, okay? You take your tickets, you give them to the usher dude if there's still an usher dude, a ticket tearing person, whatever, and they tear the ticket in half. They hand you back your half, which God only knows what even that is for, because I'm already in and I've never been checked, but I digress. Um, and they'll say something like, "Hey, enjoy the show," and you'll go, "You too." Well, he's not going to a show. She's not going to a show. They're not going anywhere. They're at work. Um, have a nice trip at the airport. You too. So we all do this, and some of it's just the social niceties. And the reason I tie this in is because the one that I really used to drive me nuts, especially early on, was I hope you feel better. Hope you do better. Good luck with your back. Look, for some reason, now first of all, let me jump this over here and I'll try and remember to get back. But if you're looking for validation from people, that's a whole different issue. And chronic pain, I talk about all the time. It's like the death of a parent, birth of a child, getting married, getting divorced. It's a life experience that unless you've got it and you're going through it, you don't completely comprehend it. You can't. Okay? So you got to cut the people around you a little bit of slack. But if you somehow need constant confirmation, constant affirmation, I guess is a better word for it, where, let's be honest, we all know some people that are constantly fishing for sympathy. The poor me, get it, been there, done that, still have my pity parties. These people they're trying to wish you well, okay? You don't gain anything. It does. First of all, if they're a casual acquaintance, who gives a shit? Get over yourself. Get over what the chick at the grocery store thinks or says. Look, you got enough stress in your life. Stress drives pain. Who cares? Okay, who gives a shit what the asshole at Subway really thinks, okay, about you using the handicap parking? I get it. I get it. I'm 6'2", roughly 300 pounds, a little too small to play pro ball, and I look fine, even though my spine is a goddamn disaster. Okay, so I got to the point where I carried pictures of my MRIs on my phone. So if somebody really got lippy with me, I could show them, go, look, here, what? Now what? And really call them out, make them feel like an ass. Then for a while, I decided, if they confront me, if they give me some flack, I'll try and be patient and use as hey, I get it that I look fine, but a lot of other people have hidden illnesses too, and here's what's really going on. And quite frankly, after a while of doing that, I got to the point that, you know what, I don't give a shit. Gawk if you want to gawk, okay? Take a good hard look. Take a picture. Put me on Facebook. I don't give a shit. Okay, hi, I'll wave for you. If you're going to worry about every little interaction you have with people who are not significant to your daily life and let it bother you, you're going to have a difficult time. It's just, you don't need the aggravation and stress. You have to learn to let it go. Because let's face it, if you're looking to be offended, you will be. And there's plenty of ignorant people out there that don't think before they talk, which is how that all ties in with the funeral issue and the stupid shit people say on occasions. all of us. So social interactions, the guy at the deli, whatever, who your server at the restaurant, don't sweat them. Okay, they're working. They're at work. They don't give a shit about you. You don't give a shit about them. Come on, let's get real. You got much bigger fish to fry. Now, when it comes to your social interactions with people who matter to you, we'll call them your friends. Closer than acquaintances, they probably know at least in some detail what's going on with you. I think I can best relay this to you guys to see it from an outside point. If I talk about somebody gets a new girlfriend or boyfriend or a car or whatever, and it feels like all they can talk about is that new thing or person. Okay. Baby pictures is always a joke, right? When somebody's got a new baby, you got any photos? Do I? And they, back when people carried photos, that's how old I am. They'd have a whole string of them. I've heard this on a couple of occasions from cancer patients as well, is that eventually every conversation seems to become about their cancer, about their illness. So same. The difference is in 3 months or 6 months, the relationship's not new, or they broke up, or with the kid, you're going to be stuck with photos till the kid gets old enough to move around on their own. I don't know. At some point, that seems to taper off. But whatever the new thing is wearing off. Um, Not to be cruel, but generally speaking, cancer resolves itself one of two ways over time. You recover or you don't. So it comes to an end. With those of us who have chronic pain, and we're going to be like this forever, it is very easy to let every conversation that you have with your friends become about your illness, and it's no longer about you and your friends. It's like almost like a love triangle. It gets in the middle and it screws things up because you want to share information if there is no information. And again, sometimes look, if you're just hunting for validation, that comes at a cost. If you just want them to acknowledge how bad it must have been, and they don't understand, so just don't demand something from them they can't give. Just let it go, okay? Your doctors know, the people that are the people you love, the people inside the friend group, um, they know as best they can. You know, the guy you're seeing, once a week, and you get together to watch a game at the sports bar or have coffee or whatever. It's just not something that he or she is equipped to deal with. So they want to ask, "Hey, how have you been?" Now, I usually just tell people I've been okay. If they come back and say just okay, I say, "Yeah, okay is fine, good enough." If you see me, I'm having a pretty good day, and I try and leave it at that. But here's a good tip that I have found with the people you are close to, with the people who the relationships really matter to you. Invest a little bit of time being honest and train them, so to speak. The people who really are in my inner circle, I pretty much have told them, look, when you see me, you don't have to ask about how I am because I'm not going to get better. In fact, my condition is degenerative, so I'm slowly getting worse. Um, and we don't need to talk about it. If I'm out and about and you're seeing me, I'm having a pretty decent day, or I wouldn't be out and about. Um, so just to avoid making my illness the focus of every conversation and have it interfere with our relationship, because you can only have one focus, right? It's either about your illness or it's about the relationship. And you want to have time with this person and have a relationship. If you don't, again, it's kind of a love triangle thing. I tell them, just tell me, hey, it's good to see you, and I just simply respond, it's good to be seen. How have you been? I've been okay, and we can go on from it because it doesn't do you. Look, a lot of us have got some pretty horrific shit wrong with us, and it's just impossible to separate that from your emotions and how you feel. Okay. Um, so if you start every encounter with somebody giving them 15 minutes about how you've been suffering and what's been wrong and your low points and what you can't do and this and that, you've already set the tone. The ship has sailed. It's better off to just be grateful you're out. Tell them, hey, it's great to see you. If they broach it and they say, nothing's changed and I'd just rather not deal with it. Because we have a tendency, just like the person who wants to tell everybody about their new car or their new significant other or whatever, to tell everybody everything new constantly. Now, I'm not talking about lying. You don't have to withhold things. If you've really got something important to share, try and keep it short and concise. But for the most part, it's hard to have a relationship with somebody who's always focused on their illness. I get it. I've got the chronic pain. I know that it's a huge portion of your life. But if you don't want your relationships with your friends to be all about your chronic pain, then you've got to not be on the chronic pain all the time. Um, and it may seem simple, it may not, it may seem obvious. Why didn't I think about it? You may think I'm nuts, but try it. Try it. Pick 2 or 3 friends and try it and see how your relationships improve when every meeting with them isn't 10 minutes of your baggage with your health. Okay? I'm just getting it. I'm just, do with it what you will. Um, Everybody's got different things they want. So I'm going to try and pop over here and check out the live chat, see if anybody's. Doesn't look like I've got anybody commenting yet. I'm shooting in the future anyway, with the future in mind, since I'm just now getting back over to this format. But it looks like my stream is running pretty decent. I guess I'll know on the replay. So now we get into things with your spouse, the people you love, immediate family members, people you live with, people you are tight with, your inner circle. Uh, my friends and I in the casino gaming business used to call it within the privacy of the privacy, your counsel, if you will, um, which generally is going to include foremost your spouse. It's difficult because there's so many dynamics at large. Okay, you're ill, and for some reason, a lot of people. I'm going to branch off onto some of the problems real quick that a lot of us seem to experience, or patterns I've seen with people who are in chronic pain since I've been part of the online pain community pretty much since there first became an online pain community. For some reason, chronic pain patients seem to be prone to a feeling of guilt that I have never encountered or seen with other illnesses. My friends who have diabetes don't feel guilty or bad that they've got diabetes. My friends who have cancer, some of them have the worldview that what did I do to deserve this? Like God punishes us with afflictions. I don't believe that. Doesn't fit my value system. So I don't believe we did anything to cause illness and whatnot. That's just not part of my beliefs. If it is with yours, then more power to you, I guess. I just don't get that. And I guess leave a message if you want. We can have a discussion. I can do a whole show on that topic, I guess. But I don't believe we've done something to be afflicted, okay? But if you've got cancer, if you got hit by a drunk driver, lost the use of your legs as opposed to being paralyzed from a spinal cord injury or pain that prevents you from walking and moving freely, why are you feeling guilty? Uh, Spillover into medication. I can't believe how many people, and maybe I'm being harsh here, but I cannot believe how many people in the chronic pain community talk about, I feel guilty when I take my meds, or I feel bad when I finally give in to the pain and take my pills. Look, if you had head problems, and I've been told head meds is an offensive term, and I don't care. If I got heart problems, I take Meds for my heart. If I got kidney problems, I take kidney meds. If you have a imbalance and a problem within your head, you take head meds. I mean no offense. And if you choose to be offended when I've clearly stated I don't mean to be offensive, quite frankly, I don't care. So, that said, if you're taking any of these other medications, nobody seems to feel guilty about it. Nobody beats themselves up over it. But for some reason, when it comes to pain meds and chronic pain, a lot of us have guilt. Second thing that really plays a role that we have to address within us when it comes to our interpersonal relationships, again, in our inner circle, is you're not who you used to be, and you're probably not capable of what you used to be capable of, and nobody likes to admit that that is changed. Most people don't like to even admit that they are losing a step, either in sports or whatever, due to age, but there really is a process when you lose so much of yourself and your life changes so drastically of loss or grieving. Until you grieve who you used to be and get past it. And I know it takes time. It's a process. I still have days, okay? I'm not saying you're going to flip a switch, be better, but you need to work at letting go of what you used to be and embracing who you are now with your new abilities, diminished abilities, whatever. You probably have some insights and perspectives that you didn't have when you were healthy. You're a new person. It just is much, and we are constantly changing as people, especially if you're somebody who's constantly looking to grow and become a better person. The fact that you had probably a sudden and radical change in your abilities is hard to take and take some adjustment. So if you're still walking around bitter and angry and resentful, that's work you need to work on within you. Okay, you need to deal with this just like you would the loss of somebody close to you. That's why I often compare it to grieving and talk about grieving your old self. Um, your spouse didn't sign up for this. Um, you didn't sign up for this. Okay. Um, I am dependent on my wife to do a lot of things. I have difficulty doing things like shaving. She I used to host dinners for up to like 20 people at a crack. Now I'm lucky making dinner unaided for the two of us. Generally, she has to do all my prep work. She does all my knife work. She's pretty much my sous chef. I go in, do a little saute, season the dish. She puts it together and plates it for us. Um, Things like that that I have to have my wife do. I no longer drive myself anywhere. Uh, Very, very rarely do I get behind the wheel. Um, Now, here's where it gets tricky when you are spouse or caregiver and yourself because you are usually in such close proximity to each other so often. You really, I get that it pisses you off if, I'll take one from my own experience. It really chaps my ass on those occasions I have to ask my wife to cut my food for me. There it is. Okay, I don't like it. It's belittling. It feels emasculating. I don't like to ask. She don't mind doing it. It's no big thing, but it really galls me that I have to ask her to do that. Not that she should do it intuitively, that I need anyone to do it for me, period, really is emotionally tumultuous. Okay, it really gets me worked up. But I go out of my way to ask her politely and, hey, honey, could you please? Rather than just expecting it or demanding it. And I also go out of my way to thank her for doing things for me. Okay, because that does two things. It makes her feel good and appreciated, and it helps me maintain an attitude of gratitude because I really do believe that is one of the keys to successfully managing chronic pain of any type is to be thankful for the things we still do have while we have them and make the most of them. So being grateful, being mindful how you ask, let the person know they're appreciated. Try and have as good a demeanor as possible. And I get it. Sometimes you just don't have it. Some days, there's a day. My wife recently commented because we were going out for dinner and she wanted to have a few drinks, but she's got to drive, so she couldn't. And, she commented, "Man, I hate it that you can't drive." And I looked at her and I didn't really, I didn't blow up, but I just kind of leveled a harsh look at her and said, "Yeah, imagine what it must be like for me to not be able to drive. Believe me." Sometimes you've got to kind of check them, but you don't have to blow up and flip your shit. Okay, you don't need to escalate the situation just to make your point. Um, if they think it's an inconvenience to them, then how do they think it feels on this end to have to rely on that? So that is really a couple of pointers I have for trying to deal with your spouse. Um, in general, and before I get gone, I've got one real good tip slash trick that I use with my wife. But before I do that, I've got to take my customary break. I've gone way over and I'm getting squirmy here, even though you probably can't tell it. So I am going to run a little clip. This is from DJ Porkchop. He has a spinal cord stimulator. The Chronic Pain Call-In show would not exist without his help and support in the past. We tried to do it as a team, but I don't have the computing power to make that happen. So he really has been an enormous help to me and support to me. He's got a great channel on YouTube. I will be putting up a card to go visit his channel or to the video or whatever I'm able to put up if you're watching it on YouTube. If you're watching this on Facebook, I'll put a link down in the description to DJ Porkchop's site. He's just a hell of a guy and calls it like he sees it, just like I try to. And I really think you'll enjoy this little clip about him taking his first vacation with his spinal cord stimulator. So without no further ado, I'm going to launch the clip. Here comes DJ Porkchop.
Hey everybody, DJ Porkchop hanging out with you tonight in the garage with all 5 of my viewers. What's happening? Spinal cord stimulator update, the big trip. Where was that trip to? New Orleans. That's right, New Orleans, the Big Easy. It's about probably 11 hours from my house. We'll talk about 11 hours here in a quick minute or two. But first, I need to talk to you about the pain part of it, because that's the whole point of having a spinal cord stimulator is the pain, right? Sorry. So anyway, story goes, pain pills. I don't have any. I don't have my doc write me any. I got ibuprofen 800s, but I really don't call them pain pills. They're more like anti-inflammatories to me, I guess. I took those with me. I don't have any oxys, don't have no Vicodins. I don't have none of that. I don't do edible marijuana stuff. I don't have none of that. I don't do none of that. So that's that. No tramadols, no nothing. Does it hurt like hell? Yep, my back hurts like hell. But nonetheless, I still don't have none of that. By choice. It's by my choice. I've been on pain pills since 2010, give or take, and I just decided this year my body needs a break. I just need a break from them. So, but there's a point, ladies and folks, where it turns from dealing with it to suffering. Don't let yourself suffer. Talk to your doc, right? So anyway, we get out of the house here and we take off. It's our anniversary. We're not going to sit around. This is my first big trip since the spinal cord stimulator. Now keep in mind, prior to February 2018, it was hard for me to even get out of the house. I could, but it hurt like holy hell. I could go to Walmart and I would drag my right leg behind me because it hurt so bad. excruciating pain. Sometimes it was so bad I could take a step and I would vomit. That's how bad it was. Horrible, horrible, excruciating pain. Fast forward to the trip. Okay, we get out of here. Like I say, it's about an 11-hour trip. We get to Jackson, Mississippi, have some car problems. We end up, that was on a Saturday. We end up camping out in Clinton, Mississippi, because it's a little bit better place to be than Jackson. Not bashing anybody who lives in Jackson, by the way, just the town. So we end up there, and I put some mineral ice stuff that I got and on me, on my back, and then popping ibuprofen 800, and grab the old remote control for the stimulator and turn it up. I leaned on it pretty good. We were there for 2 days, not a big deal. Just that first day from the car ride, I used my stimulator, then I grabbed it and turned it on back down. Real super low. Basically, I probably should have shut it off and I could save battery, but I left it on. Fast forward, we get down to New Orleans, get checked into the hotel, and take off and go out. I'm not going to sit in the hotel, so we go out on the town. And we get a walking, and walk. We were there for a Monday afternoon till Friday or Saturday. I can't remember which one. I think Saturday, maybe. I could be wrong. But it seemed like forever. But man, we walked I averaged probably 6 miles a day. I know for a fact I did 23 miles in 3 days. So for me, that's absolutely remarkable. And I owe most of all that to the stimulator. Now, a lot of people that I've talked to say, no, it's not the stimulator. That's quack medicine. It's all the weight that you've lost. Yep, I'm down 54 pounds on the year. But I didn't start losing this weight until after I got the stimulator. Without the stimulator, I couldn't get up off my duff and do nothing, right? But now, I'm not going to discount the fact that a lot of me losing the weight was me getting up off my duff and eating right and treating myself a lot better too. Quit drinking the soda and all that. Now, this isn't a diet video or nothing like that, but I'm just saying it's a combination of all combined of why I was able to do what I was able to do. And also too, I'm going to a hospital and walking on their treadmills every other day for 2.5, 3 miles, or riding a total body fit bike for 3, 4, 5, 6 miles. Maybe with a little walking in there too. That helped me with the trip to New Orleans. Get ready for that too. All the meanwhile at the hospital too, I was leaning on that stimulator. So the old stimulator was doing its job 100%. Now, but DJ, you keep talking about this pain. Yeah, I do. I'm not going to hide that fact. When I first got this stimulator, before I got it, my back was hurting like holy hell, and my doctor talked to me, and he said, do you want to do this trial? Is it something you're considering? I was like, yep, I'm considering. He said, well, understand right now it's only going to help your sciatica. It's not going to help your lower back pain at all. Not in the slightest amount. It's not. And he gave me an 800 number. He said, call this 800 number and speak to the company yourself. I called Boston Scientific and I talked to them, and I was like, hey, I didn't tell them what my doctor said. I didn't want to use the power of suggestion. What are you guys saying? They told me it'll help with your nerve pain, but it's not going to help you with your back pain. I talked to the Boston Scientific rep whenever I found out who it was going to be. I'm like, hey, I heard a little information about this stimulator, but I'm looking for your point of view. Didn't tell them what neither one of the other two said. She come right on out and told me it's going to help your nerve pain. It's not going to help your back pain. As long as you understand that, we can move forward. Lo and behold, it helped my nerve pain tremendously for the good, but it doesn't help my back pain at all. There's a lot of people argue out there, oh, it does, it helps. It helps the mechanical part. Those that don't understand mechanical who may be watching this, nerve pain is sciatica. Okay, Nerve pain, like if you feel the tooth, that pain that shoots up, that's nerve. You can feel that nerve in your tooth, that's nerve pain. Mechanical is broken, like a broken finger, broken leg, your back hurts like holy hell. That's mechanical. So now you know the difference. For me, that it didn't. That doesn't say it's not going to for you or for somebody else. I'm not trying to say that, nor I'm not going to get into that debate or that argument. It doesn't help me. It doesn't mean it won't for you. Hopefully it does, but for me, it don't. So my grand summary of the trip to New Orleans and the stimulator, if I had to give it a grade, I'd give it an A. A plus? No. I still did feel a little nerve pain, but man, look at how much walking I was doing. The sciatica in my right leg that I originally got treated for with the stimulator, 100% gone. I felt about 2% in my left leg, and I was never treated for that originally. Never. I did get a couple fresh programs put in my remote prior to leaving that weren't tested really good. So, take it for what it's worth. So I give it an A. Do I recommend a stimulator? Well, I recommend you talk to your doc is what I recommend. I'm not a doctor. I don't recommend nothing, right? I'm just a guy sitting in a garage. I would pan the rest, but you don't want to see what I got going on here. I recommend you talk to your doc. If life is crappy, if life is painful, watching your kids grow up and go by, talk to doc, talk to him. Tell him you want to know about this stimulator. The worst thing he can tell you is it might not be right for you. So, with that, I think I'm going to go ahead and get on up out of here. I don't know what else to add to it. The big trip, it really worked for me this time. Am I going to try one longer than 11 hours in a car? I don't know about anytime soon. If I do, I'll be sure to bring it to you. But until then, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. I have another video coming soon. I'm working on editing it. It's like 3-part video series on the stimulator. Stay tuned for it, and I apologize for just taking so long to get to you. I'll catch up with y'all later, and thanks everybody for tuning in. As always, if you have any questions, comments, feedback, concerns, anything, drop them below, and I promise you I will try to get back to everybody. My phone is always handy. YouTube, this is how I comment to everybody, and it's always in my hand or in my back pocket. I will get right back to you quickly. Say hi. I'll catch y'all later. Bye.
The audio should be fixed as of right now. I'm going to back up what I was saying then. I thank you so much for letting me know. I forgot to turn my mic back on. It's a one-man show. Okay, thank you so much for calling. All right. All right. Okay, I'm going to back up. Now I know my live call works. I'm not sure if you heard the caller or not, but I just found out my mic went out. So I'm going to back up. Uh, hey, it's a live show and it's a one-man act, so you get what you got. I apologize. I threw out a quick thank you to DJ Porkchop. It's very generous of him to invest his time to make the videos he does. He calls it like he sees it. I happen to be one of the lucky ones. Both my structural pain and my nerve pain are covered. Everyone's situation varies. I do tend to focus a lot on spinal cord stimulators on my show and such because they're so unique from other surgeries and it's so much more of a process. And I've got a group on Facebook. The page is called Spinal Cord Stimulator Success Stories, as well as a group. You can check those out if that's something you're really interested in and looking into. But he is a very honest and open person, and he's really been a blessing to me. I'm very glad that he came into my life through this. He found my videos, and then we became quick friends over the digital medium. I call it digital friends, which I guess kind of sounds dirty, but it's not. Anyway, I'm getting a little rambly. My pain level is getting high from being on, but I'll go back to what I was saying. when I found out my mic was out, is the way we do things around here is my long-term prognosis is full C4 paralysis, which is, for those of you not familiar with spinal problems, think Christopher Reeves. Um, so we all have a very emotional state, and most of us who have a chronic condition, even if we don't have clinical depression that's with us all the time, have what I've been told is called situational depression, because people, for situations where people would naturally and obviously be depressed. We do our best at my house not to sit and dwell on it. We've talked about it. We've pretty much beat the thing to death. There's no denial. I'm not hiding anything from her, but there's just no sense in us making our focus all day, every day, what and when my future is going to continue to deteriorate. All that can really do is rob us of the good time that I have left. We've had several doctors in no uncertain terms tell us that we should just make the best use we can of the good time I've got left. I could get hit by a bus in a month, and then it wouldn't matter. And all I've done is rob myself of the opportunity and my wife's opportunity to have as good a chance at as good a life as we can. I think a lot of people do that in every arena. It's just more pronounced with those of us with chronic pain issues. Um, so as I was saying before I found out my mic was off, my wife gets up after I do. We have our coffee clutch time anywhere from 10 minutes to an hour. So rather than me give her some overly descriptive, oh, this morning it feels like an otter's chewing on my left pinky toe, it's just not necessary. And she's gotten good enough when I'm really struggling, she can see it. She notices some mornings that my hands and my arms move slower and don't work as well as others, since my symptoms are kind of come and go, relapsing, remitting, intermittent, whatever term you want to use. Um, she will ask me a number. She'll ask me how I'm doing, and I give her two numbers on the 1 to 10 scale, one being best, or one being worst, 10 being best. So the two numbers I give her is first my emotional scale, and that's about where I was when I got called. If I'm having a good day, if I'm having a bad day, if I'm, you know, and sometimes it's not even related to chronic pain. I mean, we just had the anniversary of both my parents passing, um, and they passed. My mother and father's birthday were a day apart. My father also passed away on my mother's birthday, so that first week in June is usually kind of rough for me. If I can just let her know so she has some idea what to expect um, coming from me and why. So the emotional state is on a 1 to 10 scale, and my pain level on a 1 to 10 scale. Um, so she kind of has an instant idea what the day is going to look like, whether I'm up emotionally. I can be up emotionally sometimes because something really good happened, like I got some really nice comments online or an email or something, even though my pain's really high. Conversely, some days my pain might be low and I'm still having a shitty day because I can't get things out of my head, or I'm just stuffed up in my own mind. So, um, but that we find at my house that's a really quick and accurate way for me to convey how I'm doing on a given day. Um, I'm going to talk more about this topic. I had a little more planned, but quite frankly, having to go through part of it twice because I was too dumb to turn my mic back on, I'm kind of running out of gas and steam for one session, even with the little break. So before I babble on and completely lose my point, I'm going to get out of here. This is Joseph of Borg. I come on every Sunday morning at 8 a.m. Pacific time. I invite you to chat. I invite you to call. If I'm not on live, you can actually leave a voicemail at the phone number that's on the screen. You can email me through the page. There should be a button you can click that says send email, or you can email me at josephofborg@gmail.com. So those are all the ways you can get a hold of me. I want to thank you for spending your time with me. I try to produce good content because I want to respect your time and the time you invest. So, with that said, I'll see you next week. Joseph of Borg, one love, and I'm out of here.